What's good, y'all? Welcome to an episode of Buzz Boys. I'm your host, Terry. Hey, man, the draft concluded, and the Hornets ended up making two picks tonight. The first being Kon Knueppel from Duke, number 4 overall pick. BJ Edgecombe goes third, and something that I talked about in the draft preview video. We kind of did something that I wasn't super stoked about, which was just drafting Khan at 4 instead of trying to trade down and appeasing those ace suitors who ended up going 5th. So the Wizards at 6, Pelicans at 7, Nets at 8. They didn't even get a chance. And I'm happy that we added Khan. I'm happy to have him on the team. And it really was just like, if we could have still got him while trading down and getting something else would have been amazing. Jeff Peterson did say that he did, field a lot of calls about trading down, and it was a real option. It just, the cost was not right. Now, I don't know what the cost means. Maybe some of these teams wanted, some of our players or whatever. There's no telling what the framework for these deals could have been. So I'm not mad at not taking a deal that you don't like to possibly miss out on a player that you do like. I'm not mad about that, ultimately. And, major news of the night, the Hornets trade Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns for pick 29 and a 2029 first round pick, which will convey from the Cavs or the Timberwolves, I believe, or the Suns, whichever three of those teams are the worst. That's where it's going to convey from. No telling how good or bad any of those teams are going to be in 2029. So, hey, we'll see. But, yeah, man, ultimately, we did trade Mark Williams for 2 first-round picks. And I'm not mad that we traded Mark Williams. I actually talked about that in the preview video as well, that, it was a possibility to happen tonight. I thought it was going to be with the Nets. They're shopping Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson. Hey, maybe we throw in Mark Williams or Nurkic, and, kind of package and swap. I kind of saw that coming. I thought that we would maybe walk away with, Kaman Malak or Nick Claxton or Derek Queen or just somebody. I thought that we would walk away with if we were to send Mark out. I thought we would at least get a center and something else back. But we ultimately opted for the picks to control our own dynasty and, pick our own team. And I'm not mad at it. Ultimately, for us to still be able to get 2 first-round picks like we did for the Lakers. We got 2 first-round picks from the Lakers and Dalton Connect. Here, we don't get a player. We just get, well, we actually did end up getting a player, which I will save for later. But for us to be able to do that after everything that happened, Lakers was in the trade because of injury history, and that trade has been finalized. I did just see a notification that that trade has been finalized. The Hornets hadn't posted Liam McNeeley anywhere. Now they're posting him, saying the trade is finalized. So we'll see what's up. Hopefully, pray to God it doesn't get rescinded. Lord, please don't let it get rescinded because we can't go through that again. So yeah, man, it's official. Mark is gone. How do I feel about the Liam pick? I don't mind it. Jeff Peterson, and in his conference after the draft, talked about adding shooting was a major priority for this team. If we set out to achieve goals and we accomplished them, I'm happy. We need to add shooting. We did it, and we damn sure needed that shooting for sure. And adding 2 19-year-olds that can continue to grow, even if they're guys that's seen as low ceiling, high floor. Hey, we might need that. Every team needs role players. And, having some knockdown shooters who could also play make on rookie contracts for the next 4 years is a hell of a benefit, especially when you got to pay other guys. And that's why I'm not even mad about trading Mark because, it's literally, I talked about this in the preview. I would not be mad on a team wanting to move on from somebody who in his rookie year played 43 games. His second year played 19 games. His third year, he played 44 games. in 3 years, the most that you've given a team is 44 games. That's almost half a season. That's, a few games more than half. We're supposed to give you a rookie extension and believe that you can stay healthy for 3 or 4 more years. I'm not mad at the team for getting 2 first-round picks for him. Hey, it is what it is. Now, talking about pick 4, Kon Knueppel, man. You know, catch and shoot, flamethrower, a good on-the-ball shooter, can create for himself, can create for others with playmaking. So this is adding an additional ball handler, and this is moving Brandon Miller essentially to the 3, which I like him at the most. And yeah, man, I'm happy. Like I said, he can hand the ball, play make, knows how to use his body to create contact, and just, has good control. And he plays at his pace, man. He doesn't get sped up much. I talked about that. And he has a lightning quick release. He can set his feet and let the shot fly quick as I don't know what. So I'm happy to have him, man. I'm happy. And, I talked about this earlier. You know, people act like because you add a guy who has a low ceiling and a high floor that he can't still develop and become more than what he was in college. This is still a one and done. He's still 19 years old. He can become anything. He can become anything. He can become an Austin Reeves. He can be better than Austin Reeves. He can become anything. He can become, a Luke Kennard or whatever. He can become, he can become a star. He can become anything. Become anything in this league. You never know. So ultimately, I'm happy with Kon. Jeff Peterson talked about adding high character guys, and VJ Edgecombe and Kon Knueppel were at the top of those lists. And even after the draft, Jeff was still talking about character, guys coming from good schools, and embodying Hornets DNA. So if we found guys that we feel like fit our mold, I'm happy. Moving on to Liam McNeeley. It's kind of crazy because after I watched Liam McNeely's highlights and stuff, I'm not the biggest college guy, and I have no problem admitting that. I say that up here all the time. I'm a Carolina fan. I watch Carolina. I need to get me a Carolina poster or something in the background. If it's not UNC, I'm probably not watching college stuff. Maybe, a Final Four game or something like that here and there, but, I do my research on these prospects depending on our draft range every single year. I didn't expect us to be picking in the mid-20s, so I didn't, do too much deep dives after around, guys I feel like would be there at 7, 8, 9 if we traded down. Liam McNeely, watching his film, man, it's kind of ironic, man. He's like a Kon Knueppel Jr. After I watched his highlights, something popped up. It literally was a video from a few months ago talking about Liam McNeely versus Kon Knueppel, getting comparisons. Which one is better? That goes to show you the type of archetype that we're trying to have, to the point where, you compare the guys. People already compare the guys in college. Their games are similar. It's just, Kon is better. But they do play similar. And I'm not mad at that, man. Coming in, getting guys 6'6", 200 plus pounds, solid NBA ready bodies, and come in and knock down the 3, play, make, get to the basket. It's all positives to me, man. And one thing that I do like about Liam, man, is that we got good value. I'm high on value. ESPN's mock draft, and I'm talking about a mock draft that was made at 7:20 p.m. Tonight. So literally 45 minutes, before the draft. This is, pretty much the latest mock draft that we could get. I was looking through, and they had Liam McNeely going 20 to the Miami Heat. For us to be able to get him at 29, that's value. And I'm big on value. To be able to get a mid-first rounder at the end of the first round, I mean, hey, I'm happy. But, his skill set, shooting on the ball, off the ball, movement off the ball, the way he can find himself, open, get himself open, can get downhill, get to the rim. He has great catch and shoot potential. Um, just like Kon, can set his feet, get a shot off quickly, play through contact, and can create for others once defenders chase him over screens. He's somebody who, and that's how you use your abilities. If you know that you're a shooter, guys are going to close out hard. They're going to chase you around these screens. But while they're doing that, somebody's probably open. When the defense rotates, somebody's open. And, um, he does a good job finding guys off of that. And he can get in the mix for, blocks and stuff like that. Seeing him diving on the floor after a loose ball, always great to have a scrappy guy doing that, especially, a one-and-done freshman from a school like UConn. He doesn't have to do that. But that's something that, you already have in you. You either have it in you to kind of be a junkyard dog, scrappy guy and dive on that loose ball, or you don't. That's not something that a coach can really instill in you, is to dive on the ground and put yourself at risk for a ball. You either are that competitive or you're not. So, excuse me. But yeah, I like that about him as well, man. So I'm happy, man. We added guys that can come in, play the two, play the three, um, you know, and handle the ball, and you know, I'm happy to just think of the lineups that we can run. LaMelo Ball finding these guys out there with Trey Mann, even one of these guys handling the ball and finding LaMelo, Brandon, Miles off the ball, or vice versa. Like, just having a lot of interchangeable guys out there that can make shots and you know, out there on those wings, man. It's what this team needs. You got to surround guys who can pass the ball with shooters who can make shots once you pass the ball. That's what it's all about. Yeah, man. I'm pretty happy with what we walked away with. Now we do still have the 33rd and the 34th pick. You know, I was pretty surprised to kind of, think that we are going to add 4 rookies, but now I think that we might. Or, we could compile 33 and 34 to maybe move up. But, it's only 2 picks ahead of us, but it's no telling, what number 31 and number 32 could be. Our guys could get taken off the board. I believe the Celtics have one of those picks. I can't think who has the other one. I know the Celtics are one of the picks, though. But ultimately, man, we do have some great options for big men left on the board, man. 33, and, Jeff Peterson did say that we are looking to add big men to the roster, get some size in there. But he also talked a lot about shooting. Charles Lee's big on shooting. So, right here we have some shooting big men that are still on the board, which I love. I've been waiting for the Hornets to get a big man that can shoot the ball. First up, Ryan Kalkbrenner. Excuse me if I mispronounce his name. Currently averaging 19 points per game, 9 rebounds, shooting 34% from 3. He's 7'1", 270. It's a big guy. Now, he is a 5th-year senior, an older guy. He is 23 years old, and he will turn 24 in January, not too long after the season starts. So we're talking about a 24-year-old rookie. As somebody who's coming in, as ready as they can get. And I'm not mad at us for, adding guys like that. Like I said, sometimes you need somebody who come in and do something for you day one. I'm not mad at it. And I have not watched his film. I will, obviously, if we draft him, I will. And start my new job tomorrow. All right, I got to go in pretty early, but I should be getting out early as well because it's just a 2-hour orientation. So once I get back home, I will try to, get some stuff out on some second round content. But yeah, I do like Ryan Kalkbrenner coming out of Creighton. And it's also value that I talked about as well. Ryan Kalkbrenner, somebody who was supposed to go 29 to the Phoenix Suns, where we picked. So it had them choosing a center because they needed one too. and had him going 29. So for us to get him at 33 or 34, that's the value that I'm talking about. Getting first round guys in the second round, that's value. And he's a 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Um, I moved. He averaged 2.7 blocks a game. It's pretty much 3 blocks a game, and half a steal. But you're averaging 3 blocks a game, and he averaged 3 blocks in 2023, 2024. So this is consistent. Um, Averaging 3 blocks a game, 19 points, 9 rebounds, shooting 34% from three. I am moved. Now, he did not shoot the three that much. He shot 1.7 threes a game, so 2 a game. Um, Shooting 34%. I'm not mad at it. It's something that we could definitely use. Um, Moving on to the next candidate, Maxine Ranud. I hope I pronounced that right as well. 20 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, 11 if you want to round up, shooting 35% from three, 7'1", 250 pounds, and just turned 22 in April. So he is, younger than Ryan Kalkbrenner. He just turned 22, a few months ago. So relatively still young. Played 4 years at Stanford. He is, out of France, and hey, these French guys are taking over the league. But now with him, the total difference between him and Ryan Kalkbrenner is that Maxime Renewed is shooting 5.5 threes a game, and he's shooting 35%. So this is high volume right here. He shot 193 3-pointers. This is a real shooter. This is somebody who is perfect for Charles Lee's offense. I want him. I haven't even watched his film yet, and I want him. I have not watched a single second yet. I ain't gonna lie. But when I see 7'1", 250 pounds, 20 points, 11 rebounds a game, and then on top of that, you shooting 35% from three on damn near 6 attempts, and you averaging a steal a game and 1.5 blocks a game, I'm moved. Shit, I'm moved. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll take him over Ryan Kalkbrenner. Just on the fact that he's a little bit younger, pretty much a year and a half, 2 years younger. And on top of that, he has a lot more shooting volume. So that I do like. Yeah, I actually do like that, man. Because it's really about, you can't just look at the numbers. Oh, at one point I did miss with Liam. Yes, he finished the season shooting 32%, but at one point he was shooting 38% from three in December. So that is something to where, I guess he just got in a cold slump. But at one point he was shooting, 38% from three. So he's a promising shooter. You can't get too caught up in numbers. You kind of have to do a deep dive and see, is there more to it? If December you're shooting 38% and then the season ends in March and you finish shooting 32%, what the hell happened? It's just a cold slump though. But yeah, man, as far as shot totals go, they do definitely matter. Somebody like Kaman Malak shot 20%, but if you go and look at his stats, he was 4 for 16 from three. It's 25%. But that 4 for 16 was 16 shots. That's a small sample size. Ray Nude is shooting hundreds of threes. He does this for real. Ryan Kalkbrenner was 21 for 61 from three. So, that's a good sample size. You can shoot. That's a good sample size. 60 is something. 60 something. But 190 something threes. Oh yeah, nah, you a real shooter. Like you really shoot the ball. So, the fact that we have a chance to add one of these guys at 33, 34 is real value. Now when it comes to Maxime Renewed, he is somebody who was on a mock at 28 to the Celtics. So, value. somebody who's predicted to go 28 to a team like the Celtics, falling to us at 33 or 34. Value. Value. Love it. Now, the third and final person I'm going to talk about is Rasheer Fleming, a power forward, averaging 15 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, so pretty much 15 points, 9 rebounds, shooting 39% from three. He is more of a power forward. He is 6'9", 240. He's 20. He turns 21 in July next month, July 10th, so pretty much in a few weeks. And listening to, Jeff Peterson's words talking about shooting, Hornets DNA, I think we're going to be adding guys who can stretch the floor from every position, but also impact things defensively. And as far as Rasheer Fleming goes, I mean, he's somebody who could, play that small ball five, but at the same time, be able to provide you with real spacing at 39%. I mean, that's real right there. Let me see how many shots he shot. 62 for 159, so that's a good sample size. Real shooter. Real shooter. And somebody who could, be a real legitimate four for us. And, spell Miles sometimes, because, Miles, especially now it's getting Kon Knueppel, Brandon's at the three. Miles is still playing the four at 6'6", 6'7" on a good day. So I had somebody like Rasheer Fleming who, 6'8", 6'9", and, pushing 40% as a three-point shooter. We need that. And, that's on 4.5 3 attempts per game. So, somebody who is getting shots up. I would love to add 2 out of these 3 guys. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of for just trading the pick, and, you never know what picks 31 and 32 could be. So if the Hornets feel the need to package 33 and 34 just to get up to 31 and, maybe get something else, on the back end to get one of those guys that we feel like we are honed in on, hey, we got to do what we got to do. But if we could add Rasheer Fleming, who could be, a real power forward who can stretch the floor, and then add Ray Nude or Ryan, but I like Ray Nude just because, I see more of a shooting sample size and he's younger. But Ryan Kalkbrenner can't ignore 3 blocks a game. So we can't go wrong. Now, will I be pissed off if we do make selections at 33 and 34? It's not any of those 3 names that I just talked about. Yes, I will. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I feel like I said everything I need to say. I talked about, what Jeff Peterson had to say. Oh, one last thing. Jeff Peterson did mention that re-signing Trey Mann is a big priority of ours, and he doesn't see any reason why a deal will not get done. He's been in constant communication with Trey's and his agent. So, that is something that I think that we definitely need to be prioritizing, bringing Trey Mann back. Big for this team at the right price, of course, because he is somebody, dealt with injuries last year, but, he hasn't had an injury-plagued career. It reminds me, Liam, he did fight through an ankle injury, and that could have been something that really, was hurting his three-point shooting. I know when you don't have the lift, it affects your shot. At the end of the day, I play basketball. I'm in a basketball league. I had a game tonight. That third, fourth quarter, when your legs is tired, your jump shot, you have to power through and get that same release. You have to, your legs are dead. It's your base. It's everything. It affects your shooting for sure. So having an ankle injury as a shooter, I'm sure that affects your release. It affects the way you set your feet. It affects everything. So, it could explain the slump and how he ended up going from a 38% three-point shooter to a 31.7% three-point shooter. But anyway, yeah, Trey Mann, priority, will be back. I'm liking the way this roster is filling out. I would still like for us to, try to get us a veteran in, but if we can't, I like Okogie. I like what we have going on. I like the veterans that we have. Now, if we do add all 4 rookies, cuts will have to be made. Daquan Jeffries is somebody who I don't expect to be back. Um, but, we will have decisions that will have to be made if we definitely do choose to, add 4 rookies into this roster. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. If you watched 25 minutes of my content, I appreciate you dearly. I know it's been a while since I've been cranking out content, but we're back. Draft is here. Summer League will be here before you know it. And it's trade season, man. Stuff's going crazy. Seeing trades every single day. So, more content will be there to come. And yeah, man. I'm happy to be back. If you enjoy the content, subscribe, like, comment, tell me what you think about the picks that we made. Tell me about what you think we should do tomorrow at 33 and 34. Should we package them? Should we keep them? Make 2 picks? Who do you want the picks to be? I try to reply to every comment that I get. So, chat with me, man. Anyways, I'll catch y'all. Peace.